Hey, this is Sri Vishwanath here, and welcome to episode number 33 of the Ask Sri Vishwanath Vedanta Show. And today's video, we are going to speak about the fastest way to please God, part 3. And if you have not watched the earlier parts, you can, go check out the previous video. So, Joshua from New York said, I get all these things. I have, I follow everything what you say, but I struggle in implementation. I struggle in superimposing the face of God. So kindly advise. Now, this is a beautiful word, struggle. Vivekananda said, when darkness was there, I was struggling. When light was coming in, I was struggling. So struggle is beautiful. It is where you are leading your struggle to. So Vivekananda said, defy struggle. See, in the Mahabharata, deify is a beautiful word. Deify is superimpose. So in the Mahabharata, Yudhishthir, who was actually the son of Dharma himself, and they had to go to forest, they suffered so much humiliation, all that stuff for a long time. And so Yudhishthir was practicing Dharma. Dharma is following all these truths. And he was going through so much trouble, and he's asked Bhishma, so much suffering for a person who is following the truth, Dharma. So Bhishma said something very beautiful, which is, I'd first say in Hindi and then translate in English. काल में भी वो शक्ति नहीं है कि धर्म में चलने वाले को दुख दे सके. Even time, which gives us, does not have the strength, the audacity to give the person following Dharma suffering. Time does not have, because the fruit of Dharma is bliss, is happiness, says Shankaracharya. The fruit of Dharma is bliss. So if you say, like if you eat food and you say, I'm still hungry, the fruit of Dharma is bliss. So it is destroying suffering. That's the fruit of Dharma. So what he said was, if you're practicing Dharma and still suffering, it means that we are not getting something right. So we have to process it like that. Oh, I'm doing this. How is it possible that I can suffer? So we are processing something wrongly, and that is called false visualization. That is something. So Krishna says that, Shankaracharya says it beautifully. He says that those who move in the path of Dharma, God draws them. And what is the easiest way? Because look, what is the easiest way? God needs surrender. Surrender of what? Your false visualization. So God will increase your suffering. Look, he's not increasing the pain. Pain is not increasing. Pain is what it is. What actually increases or decreases in us, because what has happened, let's say something bad happened. That has happened. It's not increasing or decreasing. What increases or decreases is the suffering. And so the suffering, so for those who are following the path of Dharma, God draws them towards it. And Shankaracharya, one way is by increasing the suffering. Because what? What is he giving you the opportunity? To surrender your suffering to him. And what is suffering? Your false visualization. See? That's what defy. You have to defy the struggle. That struggle which you're having with suffering is because you're taking everything on your chest. Krishna says that is false visualization. The thing, because the fruit of Dharma is bliss. So there is false ideas that I am suffering even though I am practicing Dharma. It's like you eat, 10 kgs of food and then say, I'm still hungry. That's not possible, right? So if you're practicing Dharma, you cannot suffer. Pain will be there. Pain is pain, but pain does not increase or decrease. Pain is pain. It's horrible. But it's not increasing or decreasing. Where we struggle with is suffering. And so Krishna says, surrender. So God increases the pain, increases the suffering. Because so that you learn the secret of surrender. And so God is helping you. We have to realize that. And that's what, Yudhishthir told. So if we look at, if you look at all the major struggles that you're having, it's because you did not learn the art of surrender. It's an art. Today someone said, a beautiful quote of Bruce Lee. It said, before I learned the art, punch was a punch and a kick was a kick before I learned the art. And after I learned the art, the punch was not a punch, kick was not a punch. And after I had realized it completely, punch was still a punch, kick was still a kick. This is a very powerful thing. What he said was that before, when he didn't know anything, he looked at punch as just a punch, a kick as just a kick. But then when he learned the art of that karate, because kicking is one thing, knowing the art is another thing, he learned that kick is not a kick. So there's something special. He's taught in that. But once he realized the art completely, he landed in the same position. The kick is just a kick. The whole magic is in the art. It is the field knower is the art, and all the kicks and punches is the field. So once you know the art, the Atman is separated. So the Atman is separate from the struggle, from suffering. Once you know that, that is called the realizing. That's what God gives you, that strength. So we have to go through that system. And only when you surrender will the art be separated from the detail, like your realization of the Atman will be separate from suffering. So it's a beautiful thing. So struggle is beautiful if you take that struggle to God. I'm always struggling. The only thing is I'm struggling for the highest. And some of these simple ways which you, let's say, for example, if your implementation is, you should not get up in the morning and say, how am I going to implement it? No, we don't need those sentences because it's a false visualization. What you need is, you have to internalize your closeness just to God. So if you get up in the morning, what are you doing? If the first, 1 hour you're just checking your message and doing all the things, then it's not going to happen. No matter what you do, you have to spend time in proximity with God, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you have, that time, no distractions, just you and God. Whatever short time, that is important. Whether you do it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but there should be no distractions or phone or getting up or this or that, no, nothing. Let's say you're reading a book. Let's say when I read a book of Vivekananda Ramakrishna, maybe I just read 1 paragraph a day or 2 paragraphs. That itself is very powerful. But here's the thing. I'm not checking my messages. I'm not talking to someone. I'm not doing anything else. My whole attention goes there. I read it once, twice, thrice. Just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that is sufficient. Are you at any point during your day giving your full attention to God? You have to ask yourself. And that's the beauty. The mind fools you. You got to spend 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours. You got to know 100 million things. No. Give 5 minutes of undivided attention to God. You will notice that it is almost next to impossible. Because when you read a book, I want to know the meaning. Why do you want to know the meaning? That word is full of consciousness. Why are we trying to strangle ourselves? Why do we want to know the meanings of everything? Just like meaning of that, meaning of that. We just got to listen and listen again, because you're forming a relationship. This is the greatest relationship you can form, relationship with God, Ishvara. See, that's the most beautiful word. So these are the simple things which you can do. Is you can establish a beautiful relationship through struggle. Struggle is the way where you establish this beautiful relationship, because you learn the art of surrender. God likes surrender. It's the fastest way. because what you're surrendering is your false visualization. And when you realize that, you will be able to, you'll not look at ways like how you can superimpose your face, how you can superimpose everything. You'll not look at it that way. You will realize that a simple image, like the image will come automatically. The word will rise automatically. Vivekananda says, whatever you internalize, like if you internalize something that, okay, like you spend 5, 10, 15 minutes reading, like you really, really want to listen and not know the meaning. Once you have internalized it, automatically that thing will spring in you, because you have intended that in your soul. You have put that seed in your soul. So it will rise in you when you need it. So if your mind is disturbed, because you always wanted that, okay, if I take the image of God, if I take the word of God, my disturbance will go. If you really, really, really internalized it and you have accepted it, then when you really want, it will rise. That word, that image, that memory, it's called smaran, memory. Like what happens when your mind is disturbed? More memories of horror comes us, right? Oh, he did that, she did that, all that stuff. Memory. Our memory, your memory does not cooperate with you, because this deep-rooted intent, we have to put it in practice by forming this beautiful relationship and realizing that if I internalize, that's why visualization is so important. You have to visualize with confidence, because there's nothing you're adding to this whole thing. So it's a very beautiful thing. And songs and all, you're dropping words. Shri Ram, Shri Ram. See, when you say this is an effect. And I have some very interesting things. Tomorrow I'll share with you more about the word, the power of the word, and the image. We'll have a couple of more episodes on this, as this is beautiful, and I'll share with you something more powerful tomorrow. But for now, you can go to www.magicofgod.com, magicofgod.com, magicofgod.com, to save a couple of decades on false visualization and to increase your love for God, because that's all that matters. Thank you and God bless.